Hey Kickstarters, we're back and we're going to show you the analog output of the Raspberry Boom back here on the oscilloscope and also the Shaken Boom. And so before we get started with that, I want to tell you about the sensor that we're using for measuring infrasound. Here it is here. It's differential, meaning it has two different inputs, and what you'll see is that on one of these inputs we locate a tube similar to this one. There's a few different varieties. You'll see this one back here as well. This is a mechanical filter, and the purpose of this is to create a high-pass filter at 20 seconds or 0.05 hertz. Okay? And the signal, the atmosphere will enter this hole freely without obstruction, but it has a little obstruction on this end as it comes into the filter. If I bring that closer, you'll be able to see that inside of this tube is a glass cylinder, a glass dowel. And going through this, which you won't be able to see so easily, is a very, very small hole, maybe a micron or two in diameter, that passes through the entire length of this cylinder. And so the air is filtered down through this, and then there's a volume of air here before you get to the sensor itself. So I'll locate this one, which is just a little easier to manage, on one of the inputs here of our Raspberry Boom pressure transducer. And then I have ground attached here on this input, and then we'll be measuring signal. And so I'll touch down on the board here, and when I do on the oscilloscope you'll be able to see signal. And so now we're measuring just ambient infrasound here, and I can induce a signal pretty easily just by squeezing the mechanical filter and pushing the air into the sensor. And so we'll move over to the Raspberry Shaken Boom and do something similar. Okay. So grab this guy and pull it over here. We'll attach our ground. Okay. Ground attached. We'll then pop on a filter. Okay, that should do it. And then what you see here is two sensors this time, right? Because this is the Shaken Boom. And so here's the sensor that's measuring earthquakes and earth motion, and here's the sensor that's measuring changes in atmospheric pressure. So we have ground set up. We're looking back here at the oscilloscope. I'm going to start with the infrasound output. There you go. And I can squeeze the volume here and do signal just like that. See if I can get a better landing spot. There we go. So I'll squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and you can see changes in pressure. Now if we switch over to the geophone, touch down right here, and I bang the table, you'll see that I'm able to generate little earthquakes. And so the Raspberry Shaken Boom is able to measure changes in atmospheric pressure and earth motion or earthquakes, and then the Raspberry Boom over here on the right, which has the smaller form factor, is measuring only infrasound.